A few things for everybody to think about today. I think about these kind of things every day, but I have a lot of time on my hands also. Yet, my time is limited. So, go figure. First of all, you've heard the saying, humans are a species with amnesia. History is only taught by the winners, because the loser's story gets covered up. So, we all hear these things, and they mean something. They come from somewhere. So, people developed belief in what the guy before them said is so. The rules, regulations, the authorities, the political, religious, and educational authorities who taught us rules and regulations and what should and shouldn't be. And we take those as undeniable truths, universal truth. Yet, history, what we know of it, by the winners, as they say, has only taught us one thing that is exponentially true. There's not a whole lot of argument for it. Even the strongest institutions, such as the religious institutions that have held up over time, it is their argument that their belief system is so strong that it must have merit, or else it would have faded away. This was the explanation that was given me when I asked what the difference in occult and Scientology was. And when it came down to it, there was no difference. The only thing that was given to me was, in context, was that a religion is something who stands the test of time. Okay, that's just a little context on the side. Back to the matter at hand, as Dr. Dre would say. So the only thing history has taught us from what we know, or what we think we know, what we have been told, is that the people who follow the guy before them, who followed the guy before them, who followed the guy before them, are all people who are on the outside, great people, fantasy lives. They sleep well at night under the curtain of their facade that they believe in, because it helps them not to have to question things. It's all neatly categorized for them, however edited it may be. So they can live with or they can accept what has been told, because their mama told them to, and her mama told them to, and her mama told her to, or dad. My point is, a lot of people look down on those. Take the band Tool, for instance. Yes, I'm a major Tool fan, but there is a difference in Tool and other music. Other music talks about meaningful things. Tool talks about things that are detrimental to survival and the way of the world. The conscious, the unconscious, the ego, the real you. Really, really deep stuff, which is why you either, man, I don't really get into them, or man, they're the greatest band ever, because they don't tell you to do anything. So, with that context there too, their main, I guess, message, the only deliberate message they put out, is think for yourself and question authority. And yet, this seems to be a bad thing to all those people that sleep so good at night, who believe everything they're told. Go with the flow type people. It was written, so it shall be. And that's okay. But back to the original statement. What has history taught us that we can pretty much fundamentally grab and hold on to? Well, it's not that the guy before us was right. It's that the man that thinks outside of the box, or the woman that dares to go where women shouldn't go, the people who are persecuted in their time for thinking for themselves and questioning the authority or the structure of what they have been told. Because when people start to open their eyes, they look around and see that every little section with these imaginary lines drawn in the ground, all these monkeys fighting over the land, they're all their rules are different. So how can one fundamental set of rules be correct? Therefore, you should think for yourself and question authority. This is what Jesus done. You know, Son of God, divide or not, when it gets the grain. Buddha, all the Krishna. But take the whole mythological part out of it, whatever you want to call it. Take real actual members of our past who've done great things by thinking outside the box. So if you were living in the 1500s, you would have laughed at anyone who questioned the fact that the world wasn't flat. That at some point you reached the end and you would just fall off. Now, how silly does that seem now? But then it would have been considered heresy, and you may have been burned at the stake. Aristotle proved this by saying that the only powers to be at the time, there was no law. The law was the church. The law, and the church is who would punish you. So when Aristotle told the church, hey, the universe doesn't revolve around us, we revolve around it. There's a center to the universe and everything goes around it, which our ancestors knew, because they didn't have written record of the guy before them telling them how to think. They thought for themselves. This is how they accomplished all those feats in history that are said to be alien or had to be done by the hand of God or the hand of the divine. Or same way Joan of Arc was burned at the stake for doing absolutely nothing but thinking for herself and being a woman. You know, we forget that women just recently obtained their rights. There's a great story of Asherah, who was the wife of God. So the original Holy Trinity was the Father, the Mother, and the child. Doesn't that make a lot more sense than a guy, his son, and a ghost? Just saying. Some supernatural figure had to build the pyramids or Stonehenge or the Moai. No. It was people that thought for themselves, who weren't told how to think or feel. This is a part of human nature that society has forgotten. Everyone does what they're told. Or you're a bad person, or you'll go to jail, or nobody will like you, or everybody will turn on you, or you will burn in a pit of fire. You see how It's fear tactics that make us lose our creativity. If not for Aristotle, who he wasn't completely correct. The universe didn't revolve around the sun, but he was way closer than anyone else. So, this is how America was formed. People who got tired of being told what to do. They did things their own way, right or wrong. It still changed the course of history for the better. To have knowledge that was not told to you, but you actually found out on your own, or someone did. So that's been, I guess, my rant for the day. It's not really a rant. It's just something I observed. To think for yourself, you must question authority. It doesn't mean go out and break the law. It doesn't mean go against your morals. Actually, it's the exact opposite of that. Some things that are law go against your morals. Yet we don't seem to question that. But if someone that is not in an authoritative position suggests anything other than the law, then they're heretics. They're insane. They're facilitators of negativity. They got the devil on their shoulder. So anyway, I totally believe in right and wrong, but I am not going to have anyone tell me what that means, because I can think for myself. And to do that, I must question the authorities that have been put upon me. If I lived in a different country right now that may be killing other countries, and everyone in the world has turned on them, my point of view may be different. So you see, it's not really that you are thinking for yourself. You are thinking based upon the area you live in and the ideals and beliefs of the people directly around you. This is why everyone is so scared that the world is breaking open and going to explode and Armageddon is upon us. Because social media is actually letting people talk, discuss things across the ponds, and figure out, hey, a lot of these things we've been told aren't true. And, maybe my mom and dad were wrong. Or maybe, my government is wrong. Or maybe parts of them are great. Because you see, good and bad permeate the universe. For something to die, it had to be born. And for something to be born, other things have to die. So for something to go good for you, something has to go bad for someone else. This is the way it works. This is the way of the universe. This isn't what someone told us. This is what we all know. That without bad, there could have never been good. So any fairy tale that someone tells you that involves bad being put here in place of good, and that is evil, are trying to corrupt your mind. Because if you had never been sick, how would you know how it felt to be healthy? If you had never been mad, how would you know how it felt to be calm? If you were never had a tragedy, how would you know how it felt to triumph? If you had never had a hard, long, exhausting day of work, how would you know how good it felt to relax on the couch at the end of the day? So you see, I'm not knocking anything. I'm not saying anyone is wrong as much as I am saying everyone isn't right. All I am saying is think for yourself. I'm not telling you to do anything. You don't have to send me a donation. You don't have to say anything in my name. You don't even have to know my name. All I ask you to do is to look inward for your answers, not outward. Do some investigating. If you're going to buy a car, you don't just buy the car that your parents tell you to, that they drove. They might have been misinformed or lived in the wrong geographic area to have had the correct knowledge to know which car is better. So, even though they stake their entire pride and existence on the belief that their car is best, they just didn't have the information you did because they went with what their parents told them. Have a great day, everyone. Love each other, live in the moment, because that's what we have right now. We have right now. We don't have when this video started. We don't have when it ends. All you have is now. And if now goes on forever, then rock out. I love it. But now is all we have, y'all. Love each other. Love your Creator. Love evil. Because without evil, you could never be glorious. Much love. BOGT out.